news literacy means precisely to be able to look at news media and judge it critically.
To me, news literacy is essentially smart shopping. We are all news consumers, and we all have to make decisions about whether we have a good diet or a junk food diet.
There's no reason why we shouldn't enjoy the consumption of what I would sort of call the potato chip diet of information. But we also have to remember that we need to eat our vegetables.
We see youth today asking more questions and consuming more news than anybody thought.
It's very easy to become hypnotized by the amount of information that we get.
We have a responsibility to feed our brains with, the stuff that's going to make us more informed citizens than just taking the easy way out and saying, oh yeah, I read the news today. I watched the news today.
Having content available is not enough. Having journalism available is not enough. What people really need is a way to navigate, find the information they need, and then have the ability to think carefully about what do I believe and what do I not believe.
You don't just get it at once. It's a way of looking at things and looking at opposing views and understanding why you need to look at opposing views.
If you ask employers, and survey after survey has confirmed this, what is the foundational workplace skill that you're most looking for in your employees, they will always say it is the ability to analyze and explain information. That's something that you need in every field, in every job, in every industry, and it's absolutely universal. And it's a skill that nobody should graduate from public school without knowing.
Our biggest challenge is not that there aren't enough great journalists, it's that we need 300 million Americans to understand the difference between news and noise.
Always take the news with a healthy dose of skepticism.
You need to be aware that information can be abused.
We've entered a period, it seems, where people will say anything. And people will represent all kinds of things as true, which may or may not really be. And it's gotten harder to figure it out.
You're constantly being fired at with news and quick bits of information. And so news literacy, I think for me, is you understand where that's coming from, that it's a vetted source, and that it's credible information.
We should be teaching young people that when you share a piece of information, especially on a social network, you're still communicating to an audience. And you need to know that there are responsibilities behind that.
The First Amendment is a beautiful and complicated thing.
News literacy is one of the bedrocks of citizenry.
Así que tenemos que hacer un periodismo que llegue a la gente.
News literacy is really about audience development, and the audience is really what makes a democracy go.
Journalists want to do the best job they can. They want to fuel democracy.
I want readers, listeners, viewers to know that they have the power and the right to be critical news consumers.
Es sumamente importante porque estamos viviendo en una sociedad totalmente interconectada.
One of the reasons why we have a First Amendment is so that citizens have access to the information they need to make informed decisions at the ballot box.
Because if you're going to be an effective citizen, if you're going to engage with your government, what do you need to know? I need to be able to find out, how do I contact my government officials? How do I do research on their positions? How do I write a persuasive letter? All those things are content creation and consumption skills. They're all news literacy skills, whether we think of them that way or not.
If we're not taking advantage of all this great information that we have access to, then we're not really using that First Amendment like we could be.
Parents are really important in the mix here.
Being interested in current events and what's going on in the community begins in the family and builds from there.
Habla sobre esas noticias. Envuelve a tus hijos en esas conversaciones.
But it's hard to get into that mindset when you're not trained for that mindset.
There's no substitute for having news literacy or information literacy baked into the curriculum.
At an age when more and more youngsters are going online to write and report without any guidance. And that's the value of having it in that high school environment.
It's really critical that young people and anyone involved in the program think about the issues, talk about the issues, debate the issues, and become civic citizens once again.